if you are an Instagram vendor and you put no refund on your bio, you are a thief.
Even those AI tools will tell you that please seek professional advice in this regard. They will attempt to interpret it, but they will tell you to please seek professional advice. So it's depending on the gravity of what you're signing. Please do not rely on only AI tools.
I'm sure a lot of people that are even AI users, they've not even read the terms and conditions or whatever AI tool they are. Can you imagine?
So you know, we are going round and round.
Welcome to the Clause and Effect Show, the smart conversational law podcast, where fine print is turned into clear conversations. I am Jumi, and with me is my co-host
JT.
So I'm sure you'll be wondering, what does clause and effect mean? What do you think what would be people's first thoughts when they hear the name clause and effect?
I would like you to think of a puzzle and different pieces in a puzzle. Just the same way we have different pieces in a puzzle, that's the same way you typically have different clauses in maybe an agreement or a law, right? And, you know, these different clauses have their impacts and how they affect you as an individual, as a business. So what we are trying to do here is we want to be able to speak to how some of these basic things impact you as an individual and as a business in the simplest of terms. For instance, think of a rental agreement. You as a tenant, you have been given an agreement which says, part of the clause will say you pay so amount at January of every year, which is your maybe yearly rent, right? Another part would say, the landlord reserves the right to review that rent. That's another clause. And each of these clauses have an impact on you, which is why it's important to understand them. And that's why we are here today. We want to be able to go into the nitty-gritty of what the clauses mean. Sometimes it will be agreements in themselves, what they mean, and how they impact you, and probably also what you should pay attention to when you're looking at them.
So clause and effect is where law meets life, showing how a single legal clause can have a powerful real-world effects. And this show is not just for lawyers, it's for anyone who has ever signed something or agreed to sign something, or if you are still planning to sign something, is how you know how you can, is to show you how a policy can affect you if you don't understand what it fully means. So our mission is to simplify the law, connect it to everyday Nigeria experiences, and empower our listeners to understand how a single sentence in a contract or agreement, policy or law have lasting effect on their businesses, the right, and the society at large. When you talk about effects, the word effect simply means what happened next. What's the outcome of a particular law or a particular statute as is where. Then in law, the effect of something is what the clause or law actually does when it's applied in real life terms.
Just to pick off your example of a puzzle, the moment you move a puzzle from one area, a piece of a puzzle from one area to the other, that's the same way clauses work in agreement, because when you move something, it has an impact on the overall picture. In simpler terms. I mean, in this episode, we want to talk about a certain concept, right? Which is the fine print, why contracts matter more than you think. And generally, in terms of what your thoughts are on what contracts are and how regular people see them, what would be your summary of that point?
So, I would say, like we lawyers know, of course, a contract is an agreement that is legally binding between two parties. And then generally contracts are written, but it's not limited to that. We have verbal contracts, like verbal agreements. The fact that you extend your money to buy, let's say, plantain chips by the roadside, automatically you have an agreement, even though you're not stating that, a seller, I want an agreement with you. The fact that you're extending the money, the legal tender of whatever you're using to make as payments already signifies that, there's a contract. I'm giving you my money and you're giving me whatever it is you're selling.
Yeah.
and that simply means that that's a contract
That's the contract.
automatically. Yeah. So
Yeah, so I mean, when we want to define why contracts matter to regular people, because I see instances where, we lawyers have clients where you meet a client and they said, "Oh, I entered into a relationship, a commercial relationship with Mr. X,"
yeah,
and then when you, the lawyer, are probing further and probing further, you find out that they just basically had an understanding, what you call a gentleman agreement.
yeah,
And I find that Nigerians do that a lot, right? Which is why things like when we talk about the fine prints matter.
yeah,
So, in my view, when we say why contracts matter, we look at, okay, again, what is the effect of not having one, right? What's the impact of not having one, And in your view, what would be some of the instances that you've seen where there's a consequence to not having a contract?
Okay, so basically, when you download a software, or where you find that particular end where they tell you to click on I agree, and then you just click it. I mean, I'm sure nobody reads all
Nobody
the no
reads.
nobody
I
reads all the
don't read
document.
it.
I don't. I've never read it myself as well. So, but like when they have like 6 pages of whatever you're agreeing to, but just click on agree, and then people just move,
Yeah,
click on the
yeah,
agreement and just move. They are not even checking what's at the background of whatever it is they are agreeing to.
yeah, yeah.
And then
I,
they
I, I
click.
mean, yeah, just to cite an example, there was a contract I had with a microfinance bank, of course, not to be named. And well, the fine print of that contract, I think at the stage of them drafting it, they had the idea that, oh, we have the prerequisite to, for instance, review rent,
Yeah,
pardon me,
yeah.
review interest rates
Okay.
willy-nilly. That's what most lenders would want to do, the power they would want to reserve. But when I eventually looked at the fine print, when the trouble came up, because what they wanted to do was review the interest rate.
Yeah.
They sent me a notification saying they had reviewed the interest rate. So I went back to look at the fine print that day. Mind you, when I was signing, I didn't read the fine print.
Wow.
But when I eventually went back to look at the fine print and compared it to the consumer protection regulation, it worked in my favor,
Yeah.
because they couldn't review, or at least there were some conditions they had to put in place before they would be allowed to review
Yeah.
that interest rate willy-nilly. So, it just signifies the kind of examples of why reading the fine print sometimes matters. But again, most Nigerians don't read the fine print, but yes, we would encourage you to read it from time to time.
Yeah, so fine print just signifies like the agreement, whatever it is you're trying to sign to or buy into. When you, like I gave an example earlier, when you buy when you download the software, or you are trying to download an app, and they tell you that, okay, agree to maybe collecting your data or something like that, and you just click agree. And a lot of people don't read that, myself included, but that's not good enough, because
Yeah.
ideally you should know what you're signing into, you should know what agreements you're entering into, and then before you click I agree, please read, ensure you read whatever it is you're agreeing to, so that it doesn't come back to bite you.
Yeah, yeah, and just on the read and understanding, we can say that a lot of times, but the truth is that a lot of regular people,
Yeah,
non-lawyers, they may understand it literally,
yeah,
but we also know that some literal terms are not exactly, they don't bear the exact meaning in legal terms. So
yeah.
how will you navigate things like that? Because to me, I would say, this is not legal advice, by the way. Um, why do we have ChatGPT and all of these other tools today?
Yeah.
If you don't understand a particular term, and well, let's say you don't have a lawyer friend that you can easily have read and review and pay that lawyer to, review
Review the
that thing for
contract.
you.
Yeah.
It's a simple case of asking ChatGPT, okay, in simple terms, what would be the impact of this, right? What would be the consequence of it? I'm not taking business away from
Chat GP.
lawyers, but please, it's just easier to understand it, and these are some of the easy ways you will understand those things. Don't try to understand it in the regular perspective.
Yeah, because
Mhm.
one of the real life consequences of not reading the fine print, not reading whatever contract you're signing into, it's a whole lot, because we've seen cases of probably startup losing their what's it called now, losing IP rights, or because the before they entered into agreements with the
Yeah.
other party, they didn't even read whatever it is they're signing to, or probably they even read and not understand, because it's
Yeah,
possible that
yeah.
you read and not understand because of all the um
I
I
mean the
mean, legal,
legalese, the
yeah,
legalese. So
exactly.
so interestingly, a couple of days ago, I mean, it's a potential transaction that I was advising on,
Okay,
and you know, and the counsel on the other side had some back and forth on
okay,
the agreement. It was a financing agreement, and because we had so much back and forth, the client on the other side for
yeah,
the counsel was also on the call, and I would say she attempted to understand the things we were speaking about. I asked a technical question
yeah,
to the lawyer on the other side,
yeah.
and she attempted to answer it, and it was just a case of, you don't understand what
So
we're
you,
talking about. Please just leave this to your lawyer. So again, it brings to the fore that in some cases it's important to have your lawyer
yeah,
there. I wouldn't advise a startup to sign an engagement or contract with another startup and you don't have your lawyer, maybe in-house lawyer or external counsel, look at
a lot
it.
of people use ChatGPT now, and
I
then
mean,
it's like ChatGPT is replacing, but I don't know. I don't think
so
ChatGPT can ever
yeah,
replace.
it can't, because the thing about chat gpt, and maybe we shouldn't restrict it to only chat gpt,
Yeah,
essentially
AI
all
generate.
ai
Yeah,
tools, is that you know law across several jurisdictions. Think of it as law in Nigeria, law in the US, law in the UK. They have their different principles,
yes,
right? There are some common principles across board, but in reality, even those AI tools will tell you that please seek professional advice in this regard. They will
yeah.
attempt to interpret it, but they will tell you to please seek professional advice. So it's important that, depending on the gravity of what you're signing, please do not rely on only AI tools in terms of reading the fine print.
AI tools might probably give you a good definition. They might
Yeah,
even, I
yeah,
mean, they'll make things simpler for you in a bit to understand. But it's better to get an actual human being
yeah, yeah,
and not
yeah, yeah, yeah. That, yeah.
and not artificial intelligence to actually explain things that you're signing into, contracts you're signing, so that you don't get ripped off of your hard-earned money.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
then you start going to court. You spend money in court. They are going to spend a lot of money in court for litigation. I promise you that. So you
Yeah,
might end up losing money on maybe on fraud, and also losing money. I mean, not losing money, also end up paying more money to your lawyers, just
yeah,
because you
yeah.
won't use an actual human being
I
rather
mean,
than
yeah.
relying on AI.
I
I
mean,
mean, AI
just
is everywhere, but then it's better to just use an actual human being. And I mean, who doesn't want to use an actual human being? Why would you sit down with
well,
your
the question,
computer
the,
all
the
day and then
question
ask
is, the
questions?
question is, why should they use an human being? So, I mean, to answer that is that, okay, why do you need lawyers? Again, this is not an advert for lawyers, right? But there's the concept of professional liability,
Yeah,
which is that if an AI tool gives you a wrong advice today,
yeah,
can you hold them liable?
that's
No,
another thing.
no. If you go to the fine print of their terms and conditions, they will tell you probably that you can't rely on
I'm sure a lot
professional
of people
advice.
that
Do
even
you get?
AI users, they've not even read the terms and conditions or whatever AI tool they
Yeah,
are. Can you imagine?
so
So
we are going round
round
and
and
round,
round, yeah.
right? So I was saying, I was on the subject that the reason why you should use a lawyer sometimes is that
Yeah.
the
Not
lawyer,
sometimes, please. All
I
the
mean, all the
time.
time,
All the
but
time,
yeah,
please
but
use your
let's be
lawyers.
practical. Let's be
Yeah,
practical.
okay.
In Nigeria, not a lot of Nigerian professionals use lawyers or
Hmm.
can afford one. We encourage you to, but the reason why we're saying it's important to use lawyers also is that the concept of professional liability, which means if something goes wrong,
Yeah.
I can hold my lawyer and say, oh, you
Oh,
advised me to do
do
this.
this, yes. So
What
you're
went wrong?
responsible for the outcome.
Yeah.
I
So
mean,
those are some instances where, for instance, it's professional negligence in
yeah.
certain cases
Yes.
that you can argue. So that just speaks to why you should have your professional lawyer advise you in certain instances.
Yeah.
But yeah, while we're on the subject, yeah, what would you say is one of the weirdest clauses that you've seen? I know I've seen a couple of them, but I don't know if you want to start, or I should start.
Personally, I've not really seen any super weird
Clause.
clauses, except for the fact that maybe people just come randomly to me and tell me, okay, they want to sign a contract or have an agreement, and maybe the person like issues of money matters.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
maybe you're being overly charged for a particular product, or I mean, it's and people trying to understand what this entails. And when it comes to money is a universal language that everybody
Yeah,
understands,
yeah,
whether
yeah.
literate or not. I mean, everybody understands what money is. So when it comes to money issues like that, I feel that's when, okay, people try to like argue their way out of an agreement or something.
Would you say a no refund clause
Ah, no
is,
refund. Oh yeah, my Instagram
is
vendors. Oh my god.
would
Oh
you
my
say a no
god.
refund clause is
No,
a weird clause?
yeah, it is a weird clause. I mean, it is a very, I don't know who started the no refund thing, but I see a lot of Instagram vendors. Okay, me probably just scrolling through Instagram, or I mean any comments, and I see no refund. I'm like, why are you trying to rip me up? You're a thief. If you are an Instagram vendor and you put no refund on your bio, you are a thief. And the truth is, I see no reason why you can't refund a client of their money. Okay, for example, I had a contract with a vendor a few days ago, and you're supposed to deliver this by
Yeah,
particular time.
yeah.
And all of a sudden, this person, a day to the delivery, decides to turn off her phone. For the past
Too
24
bad.
hours, I've been trying to reach this person, and I realized that, okay, since you can't meet up with the delivery of what I intend to use it for, because I've explained to you, I've explained in a mini agreement, or when I say verbal agreements now, that okay, I want
Yeah.
to use this and this for so, and then the person can't meet up. Okay, I'm like, please just do a refund for me. I don't think whatever it is you're selling will meet up with whatever I want to use it for. So there's no point. So when people buy things and then they see and then the vendor writes no refund. I mean, exchange is even okay. Some people will tell you, okay, they can't they exchange. I mean, why would there be no exchange? Why would there
Yeah,
be no refund? But I feel
yeah.
like for anything you're buying, for any business you are doing, there should be a chance for a refund. If the client decides that, okay, this size of dress is not fitting, or this size of shoe is not fitting, or doesn't match my taste, or doesn't match the taste of the event I want to use it for, please can I do a refund and you give me my money back or something, as long as the what's it called now, the customer hasn't used the product yet, I think there should be a room for refund. And please
Yeah.
stop stripping people of their hard money. No refund. I mean, you see startup businesses of maybe less than 1,000 followers on the streets of Instagram, and they will put like in capital letter, even the name of the address or the location of the address or whatever it is not everything in capital letter, but they will use
But
that no, they will write that no refund in capital letter, and now put
there's a
that,
reason for
that
it.
icon, that X red icon, and put it no refund. And I'm like, wow, it's like you don't want to go far with this business, because you can't start a business today and then you put no refund on your bio. I mean,
Yeah.
do
I
you want
mean
to sell
so
do you want to
so
sell 1,000 naira items forever? What happened to making millions? What happened to making billions? And you're putting no refund.
so yeah, I mean, just off your point, I I mean, there's the social aspect of it, which is what you mentioned in detail. That, I mean, I wouldn't trust you if part of the biggest things on your page is no refunds policy,
Yeah,
because I that suggests to me that there's a history of
exactly.
either poor performance on your end,
Yes,
or maybe you've had friction with a lot of customers that led
exactly.
to that. So, you've set the tone already. But if we even look at it from the legal perspective,
Mm-hmm.
from the, we have a consumer protection regulator here in Nigeria, and that's the FCCPC, the Federal Consumer Protection and
Yeah.
Competition. I think FCCPC. I can't remember the full details now. But essentially, under the law establishing the FCCPC,
Yeah.
as well as the regulations which the FCCPC have released as well, it's a case of, if I give you money, which is a consideration,
Yeah.
in exchange for a good or service,
Yes.
there's a certain quality that is attached to that service or good. If I don't get that quality, right, I'm entitled to a refund. It's part
Yeah.
of my consumer right, right? And what's the legal framework says in summary in that regard is that you can't give me poor service and say I will hold on to your money,
Yeah.
right? So in itself, that policy or the clause runs against the law of the land in which you're operating, which is Nigeria.
Yeah.
So you as a business owner also need to look at, okay, which is why you need a lawyer, by the way. You need to look at your operations and say, am I compliant with the law? Because you then know the impact of what you said in that agreement is that it's null and void.
Yeah.
Which is why if you look at a basic contract, it will there's a part where this called separability. It says, okay, if a particular clause it goes against the law, it's considered null and void,
Yeah.
right? And usually, what the effect of that is that it sometimes will negate your whole
Oh,
contract.
contract. Yes.
So, some people will then say separability. It will only be null and void to the extent of the part of my agreement,
Yeah.
right? So, again, going back to the point that, as a business owner, which is where we started off from, when you have certain policies, do your research, engage a professional lawyer to look at the fine print for you, right, and advise on the impact before you actually write them. Because what then happens tomorrow is that a customer that wants to get you as an IG vendor will get their money back and will also get the FCCPC to fine you,
Yeah.
right, for those kind of policies that you maintain. So again, you're losing both ways in that regard. So again, the fine print doesn't only work for customers, it works for business owners as well,
Yeah.
which is why it's important that you read them and you know what you have in your contract.
Yeah. So basically, like we have said, it's better for you to IG vendors, I'm here for you. It's better for you to remove that no refund thing. Apart from the fact that it's really against the law, it speaks against your own personal morality as a person. I mean, you can't hold on to somebody's added money all in the terms of no refund. I mean, it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't speak to your business. It doesn't put your business in a good spotlight. I mean, when I see no refund, I just avoid the page instantly because I know that if any issue should come up tomorrow and then my money has gone somewhere and I can't bring it out.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So basically, think of contract as a dating app. What looks good on the surface, deep down inside, might not look so good. You know all those fine dating apps. Do people use dating apps in Nigeria? I don't know.
Well, I don't
I'm
know.
not aware, but in case, just in case, or you're trying to toast a very fine girl, and then maybe she doesn't have a good character, you're just in the outer package. I mean, all good and
Virgos, for
fine.
instance.
What?
Virgos. Those ones with Virgo signs.
Yeah, so please look into your contracts, know what you're signing into to avoid issues of law or litigation that you don't have money for. Imagine spending a lot of money on buying things and then at the end of the day you still spend money on paying lawyers. Of course,
Yeah,
we'll get
yeah.
you we'll get money for our service,
Yeah, of
whatever
course,
it is.
certainly.
So do you have anything to add?
No, I mean, I think we've covered it basically. The overall point, like you've mentioned, is that contracts are important. Look at
Yeah.
the fine print, and make sure you pay attention to them as you move along in life.
And I think it's important to also let people know that contract doesn't is not limited to like the drafting of the this thing. Like I said, contract is everywhere around us.
Yeah,
From you
yeah,
buying to the malam on your street, buying from the malam on your street and trying to get Indomie noodles. You don't know this is, I don't know. I'll say. So to you buying maybe roasted plantain and granuts,
Yeah.
you're already making a contract with the seller. So it's important to know what you're buying. If you buy a bad one and the seller tells you, ah, madam or sir, that's the only one available, and you probably tasted a bite of it without actually checking well if the plantain is good or not edible. I mean, you're on your own.
Yeah.
So thank you for listening to Clause and Effects, the smart conversational podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, hit subscribe button and share with somebody who clicks I agree. You know that I agree button. Share with them. And if you have ever signed a contract with a hilarious or disastrous clause, send it our way via our mail address clauseeffects.co@gmail.com. You'll see it just below the screen. It might just feature in our next episode or something. So until next time, remember fine print matters, because what you don't read carefully or what is skipping an agreement can come back to haunt you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.